Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Final Fantasy FXN podcast. I'm your host, David Turner, and I'm joined by co-host Katya.
What's up, guys?
And also by Josh, otherwise known as Street Shop Kid on the forums.
What do you mean? I am Christian Bale.
That was pretty good. So this episode, actually we have some site news updates for everybody because I redesigned the website finally. Well, I think it's been a little bit too long since there was an update. Since the design was getting a little bit dated. It looked like it was like straight out of the 90s.
Yeah, it looks great now.
Yeah, it definitely looks a little more modern now.
And I like the new banner.
There's a lot more color on ff-xii.net.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That one changed
like
a lot.
Pink, purple now.
Yeah. I still go through that site to get to the forums. So.
Oh, yeah. I bet a lot of people do.
I opened up the website one day and it was just pink and purple, and I didn't know what happened.
I was a little bit unsure of that, but I kind of like how it turned out.
It looks nice.
It actually looks nice, yeah. It's not like hot pink or anything, so
No.
it's more of a low saturated purplish pink. So,
Your eyes will not bleed.
No. It matches quite well. And all the other domains were also updated, and I kind of ditched the dark themes since, I don't know, those just didn't look right on most screens. So yeah, they're all bright now and look a lot more professional, I think.
I think so too.
Also, it's a little wider, so finally getting up to speed with some of the widescreen monitors and that sort of thing. So if you haven't been to the site in a while, you should definitely come check it out because lots of things have changed. All right, so the outline for this podcast is we're going to be starting off with the news segment. There have actually been a lot of new games that were released and announced as well, so that should be kind of exciting. Then we'll move on to our questions segment, and then we'll also be talking with our featured discussion, where we'll talk about our first experiences with Final Fantasy. So that should be fun to talk about. A little different feature discussion this time. If you're a first-time listener, the Final Fantasy podcast is a monthly podcast presented by the Final Fantasy FXN network. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes Store, the Miro podcast directory, YouTube, and of course, finalfantasy-fxn.net. We'll start with our news segment. Bravely Default was released, and we also have some initial sales information about that. It was released in Japan on October 11th and has sold 85% of its initial shipment, and I think that was first week sales there. And that would equal about 141,000 copies, which is not bad considering it's a new franchise. And for those of you that don't know already, Bravely Default is the successor to Final Fantasy The Four Heroes of Light, and it's made for the Nintendo 3DS. Have you guys really been following this game? I haven't been following it that much.
I've been following.
I've only seen it from when I've posted news.
Yeah.
It seems interesting, but
It does.
I'm not sure.
It looks like a pretty cool game. I kind of wish that I would play it, but I won't be.
Because you hate Nintendo?
That's right.
Your loss.
Yeah.
Your
Well,
loss.
maybe they'll port it. Who knows? Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think it's good to see that it sold so much for a
Yeah.
new game, because many games from older franchises don't sell that much. And I actually looked at the sales from last week, and it was now at 213k. So
Okay.
it has pretty good legs.
That's good.
Because like if you look for Final Fantasy sales, like first week you have a lot of copies sold, and then it just drops off the map.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I think this is a good sign.
I guess maybe because it's somewhat unknown to a lot of people, so word of mouth is making people want to buy the game.
Yeah, but it has good quality.
Oh, that could be. Yeah. I was also looking at the sales numbers for Final Fantasy: The Four Heroes of Light, and I think they were somewhere around 111,000 the first week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they were at, so it's showing some improvement.
Yeah, but this game is not even really Final Fantasy. They're trying to make it be completely separate.
Yeah.
Although it looks very close to that game.
Mm-hmm. So we have a response from one of our users on the forums here about this, and he says, or she, I don't remember, I'm so happy that the game is doing well. I guess nobody expected 500,000 sales, so this is great. It might sell around 250,000 copies in the end, don't you think? And that's quite a lot. I hope we'll get to play the game too, cross his fingers. Well, actually, as Katya was just saying, it's almost at 250,000 copies. So
It's looking to sell pretty well.
yeah. So it might actually go up to somewhere like 300,000 or so, or it might even get to 500,000 sales.
That would be something.
So if the game gets localized, will you guys want to play the game?
I'm definitely getting it.
I would have to get a 3DS first. I don't know if will ever have enough money for that. I'm in high school and I don't have money.
Oh, I see.
That works.
What about you, Katya?
I already have 3DS, so it's not a problem for me.
So it's like a first day buy for you.
Pretty much, yeah. It's one of the games why I bought it in the first place.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So was the 4 Heroes of Light localized?
Yeah, it was. I haven't played it, but it was.
Okay. So hopefully if that one was localized, this one will too.
I hope so. I mean, they have no excuse to not localize it. It's not like, Type 0 where the system is dead.
Okay, so we'll move on to our next news here. Final Fantasy XIV Final Hours was, I guess it kind of took into action or whatever you want to call it. The idea behind this was that the game saves will end after October 31st. But the servers will remain online until November 11th in preparation for Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. And I know Katya is a known fan of Final Fantasy XIV. And were you there on the 31st celebrating?
Nope.
No, you were not?
No, I've been busy playing other games. But
Oh.
from what I heard, they just turned off the servers and that was it. And then they updated a new patch. I did sign in today just to see what's going on. And you have this very creepy music playing in the background. And I
Isn't there something?
I think somebody attacking cities because I see like lots of people dead in the cities. So I don't know.
Maybe because now there's no consequences. You can just do whatever you want.
You still use your old account. It's just not gonna transfer over anymore.
Yeah. And isn't there something about like the sun is going down or the moon is setting?
Yes, the moon, Dalamut's supposed to come down, but I think it's gonna come down on November 11th. Because when you sign in, there's like a countdown. You have this many hours left until it falls.
Final Fantasy XIV, Majora's Mask.
Yeah, mass distraction.
So do you know when Realm Reborn is coming out?
No, it's supposed to be next year. But
next year?
Early next year, probably. Maybe January, February. Well, I don't hope for January.
So the servers will really be offline for a couple months then?
Yeah, they're going to do a beta.
Oh, okay.
I think first they're going to do people who already played the game. I don't know what they're going to do with PS3 version. But they said it's going to take a couple months just to transfer the characters. At least 2 months it's going to be offline.
I see. Okay. I wonder how that'll turn out. The 10 people who play the game, they'll be disappointed.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. No. It's more like 10,000 to 10 million. Not 10 million. not World of Warcraft numbers.
I mean, it's been dying off in the past months because most people waiting for the new version.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, our next news is about a new game that was announced called Final Fantasy X Gree. Hope I said that right.
Probably.
I don't know, like X
it
looks
could
like
be
10.
Like they did with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, they used an X. I don't know.
Something like that, maybe. So this game is a mobile game for the iOS. And not really much is known about this game other than it's using a card battle type system. And some of the screenshots have been released. And it has some of the more popular characters from Final Fantasy like Cloud, and I'm pretty sure Lightning was there. And I don't know, was Yuna there? I can't remember.
Weren't they fighting a Tonberry?
I saw them fighting a bunch of monsters that I recognized from Final Fantasy 13. And Tonberry was possibly there.
I could have sworn I saw a Tonberry.
Yeah. It's possible. I don't remember. But that would be a good choice since that's a pretty iconic monster.
The best monster ever.
Oh, yeah. And the game is being directed by Kazunari Itakura, who worked on Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, and also produced by Ichiro Hazama, who was the producer of Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. So there's quite the Final Fantasy VII clan here creating this game.
Not the best one, though.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus had a pretty good story, and I don't know, a lot of people didn't like Advent Children, but I liked it.
No, but I don't think this game is gonna be really about the story. And
no.
From the looks of it,
it
really looks like a poor effort to me. Like, all the art is old from random games, it's like random styles all over the place.
Looks like a cash-in to me.
Yeah. If they can't even bother to draw new art, like, what? The point.
So yeah, who knows when that will or how that will turn out.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. Another announcement was made for Final Fantasy III for the Amazon Kindle Fire. That's right. Square Enix is making up for not being able to play 3 when it was originally released in Japan by releasing on every possible platform. Because let's see, now it's on iOS, DS,
PSP.
I think PSP.
It's on that Ouya thing.
Oh yeah.
That I think you're right. Yeah, I think that it will be coming out on that. Which means that it's also on Android.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is it on the computer?
I don't think
Not
so.
yet.
It will be.
It will be.
You just wait. So is this milking gone a little bit too far?
And they could have picked a better Final Fantasy at least.
Yeah, I've heard that's not even the best Final Fantasy.
From what I played, it's one of the worst. I didn't like it at all.
It is awful. You have to spend like 3 hours grinding at a time to not die every other battle.
Yeah, and the last dungeon is the worst thing ever.
The story is literally 4 onion kids go on a quest.
Wow.
If they could have picked Final Fantasy 4 DS, and at least that was decent, but this, yeah.
So maybe it's another cash-in.
Most likely. Maybe it's easy for them to port or something, since I already did the iOS one.
Yeah, since it's already on iOS, it's probably not that hard to put it on Amazon Kindle.
Yeah.
Fire.
It doesn't even really seem like the right market. I mean, when I think of a Kindle, I think of an e-reader.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the Kindle Fire is more like a full tablet.
Yeah, my friend has one, and he's pirated some Final Fantasy games on there.
Oh, yeah?
And they don't work very well.
And maybe it's a good idea for them because there's nothing else on it. So they would be,
Maybe.
in the center.
Yeah.
People get it because there's nothing else to play.
It's quite possible. But, Square Enix does some pretty silly things sometimes. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's just me.
Oh, but the game also was pretty expensive on iOS, so...
It was like $17.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the game is actually going to be $15 on the Kindle.
That's too expensive.
Wasn't it on 3 on DS like $40?
It was, but it was released long time ago, and this is different market.
Well, most DS games at the time were like $30, and it seemed like a lot more at the time. I don't remember. It was 2006, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just checking it now, and it's $15.99 for the game on Amazon. So that's pretty crazy.
For DS one, or?
No, the Amazon Kindle version. Oh. It's going to be $15.99.
Yeah, I don't see too many people getting it at that price.
That's more than Final Fantasy VII for the computer, because I think that was $9.99.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, in the market where most games are like 99 cents. That's not gonna work well.
Ew.
I can't see that doing well, but I mean, it probably costs them like next to nothing to make.
Yeah.
Probably.
So as soon as they sell 10 copies, they're probably profiting. Yeah, the 10 people who play Final Fantasy 14, they're going to be the ones getting this game.
I'm not getting it.
I have nothing against 14, by the way. I'm just joking.
I'm still resentful that it never came out on PS3.
Well,
it's going to come out. So.
It should. It should come out pretty soon.
Enjoying the fun.
I mean, if they don't release it, that's a huge mistake. Since I think that's where a lot of their fans are.
But I think they showed the footage for PS3 during TGS, so it has to come.
Yeah.
Well, they showed it, I think, on the PS3 running a long time ago, didn't they?
Maybe they said it was running, but I don't think so, because before it was old version, and we know it's never really worked on PS3.
Maybe not. I could be wrong. Okay. So our next, we'll kind of just end things off here on a light note. Because there's another interview with Hajime Tabata about Final Fantasy Type 0 and localization possibilities. He says that due to market reasons, we are taking a clean slate in terms of our plans. We feel strongly about bringing this title to the fans in North America and Europe. So if an opportunity arises that can become a conclusive factor, we are prepared to go into consideration right away. Well, to me, that sounds like a PlayStation Vita port.
Yeah, like if Vita sales pick up.
Yeah.
Could be 3DS or PS3 HD remaster.
Yeah, but if you... I mean, the 3DS is already successful, and he's saying that he's waiting for the market to pick up. To me, that means a Vita.
Yeah.
That could be it.
And he knows that the PSP is virtually dead in North America.
Oh, that one definitely never coming here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The PSP's been dead in North America for years.
So hopefully maybe this Christmas the Vita sales will take a huge spike, and then they'll consider porting it.
Well, a lot of big Vita games are coming out pretty soon.
That's true.
I think last week in Japan the sales were terrible. Still.
Really?
I think one of the worst. Like 6K or 7K, I forgot.
I think 2 or 3 weeks ago there was a big game that came out for the Vita in Japan.
Yeah, Hatsune Miku game.
It had some good numbers for that week, but
it's never coming here.
Dropped off. Yeah, it seems like in Japan It's totally game driven. If there's a new game, the console sales will like triple, and then the next week they'll be back down to nothing.
Yeah.
That doesn't really seem like the case in North America. Like if there's a big game, they might go up a little bit, but not that much. So in Japan, it's totally dependent on the games.
I think people in Japan, if they're obsessed with something, they're like really, really obsessed with something. And here, not so much.
Yeah.
We don't really have here that many games that aren't really available on other consoles. Like we have Assassin's Creed coming out, but there's also a similar game on PS3, like same as Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
And all other games.
That seemed like the problem with the initial PSP. It was joked around. It was like PlayStation Port or something like that. Port Station Portable or something, something like that. And that seems to be the case with Vita again.
They just really need to drop the price.
That's definitely
because the amount of games is not even that bad at this point. Like I have more games on Vita than I have on 3DS personally.
There you go. So maybe like $199 would be the good price.
Yeah, and I bought mine at $199, so that was the price for me.
I still haven't gotten one, but just simply because there hasn't been that killer game that really makes me want to play it. And Type 0, absolutely, that would definitely be the game. I would actually spend the full price of the Vita for that game. I wouldn't even wait for a price drop.
The one I'm considering spending full price in the Vita is Persona 4 Golden, because that looks really nice. Like, they added a lot from the original game. But if that and Type 0 came out, I would probably buy the Vita right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would. And I think both Sony and Square Enix should realize that.
Square Enix hasn't really announced anything for Vita since that one game that they released in the beginning. So
which one was that?
I'm trying to remember the name. Something about the apocalypse.
Oh, doesn't ring a bell to me.
Yeah, it wasn't that popular.
Probably not. They should have put Final Fantasy in the title. Milk the series some more.
Or Army of Corps, maybe. Yeah.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors? No? No one?
No.
No one? No?
Oh.
It's a good game.
That's a game?
Yeah, it's a SNES game. Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Never heard of it.
It's so good.
In addition to what he said about the localization, Hajime Tabata also went on to describe some of the improvements that he would like to see with the game. And he mentions the ad hoc capabilities and the co-op mode where players could help each other at any time. He says that he would have liked to have been more thorough with the storytelling and make it easier to comprehend. And he would have also liked to adjust the leveling curve and balance of the magic. Now let's see, Katya, I believe you said that you played the entire game?
I played about half of it.
Half of it?
Yeah.
Was it unbalanced?
It didn't really feel that unbalanced to me. And maybe if I were to get further. Maybe
it's just kind of like you get to a wall and you need to now level up, like just grind.
Like the leveling wall in Crisis Core?
I never felt a leveling wall in Crisis Core.
I did. Maybe because I was really underleveled, but I was playing, and then there was this fight with the behemoth in the lab. And like right after that, I couldn't kill anything, so I had to do like 40 missions.
Wow.
I never got that far.
You never played all of Crisis Core? Or Type 0?
No, I didn't get to the leveling block area.
Oh, okay. Well, that just about wraps up our news for this month. If you want to see all of our news, you can go to finalfantasy-fxn.net and make sure to talk about it on the forums. So you might just get mentioned on the podcast, so there you go. Move on to our questions segment. We have 3 questions this episode, and we'll start things off with our first one, which was asked by Levis. His question is, what do you think about the state of the Japanese gaming industry, more specifically in terms of competition with the West and overall quality? Well, you may have heard me say this before, but I think the Japanese gaming industry is struggling big time. Like, I mean, if you look at the development times of their more major games, they're like 2 or 3 years, possibly more, in terms with respect to Versus 13. What's that, 6-7 years now? It's ridiculous. Yeah. And then also, if you look at some of the quality of the games, I mean, they literally look like HD PS2 games, some of them.
That's
and
true.
The gameplay, it's clunky at times. I think I remember reading an interview about one of the developers saying that for the longest time, the Japanese couldn't figure out what to do with the right analog stick. They just didn't understand it. And like you could see that in Kingdom Hearts 1. where like the camera system was controlled by the
L2 and R2 buttons.
Yeah, like they just didn't realize what that analog stick was good for. And the original PSP, it only had one analog stick. So yeah, it's just like they're not able to keep up with the rest of the gaming industry. They're always one step behind. Up until this generation, they were dominant. But I don't know, this generation, they're really struggling. And I'm worried about next generation. Like, they might just disappear. And games like Resident Evil and Final Fantasy, they're kind of like completely changing the games just to make it seem more Western. And that's a big mistake because... Well, first of all, it's hurting their Japanese fan base, but it's also hurting the rest of the fan base around the world because the reason why they play these games is because they are different than the Western-style games. I mean, that's why I play them.
Yeah, I mean, people already liked what they saw. They don't need to change it.
Yeah, I mean, when the game sells millions of copies, it's not because people want to play a more Western game. It's because they're playing a Japanese game. And it is different. It is quirky. I don't know. Josh, what do you think?
I don't know. Like, it seems like the more major companies have been able to push through the what most of Japanese companies are going through. Like Konami, Capcom, and Square Enix have been getting through, even if it hasn't been up to their glory days. Mm-hmm. But like a lot of these smaller companies have been struggling so much, and now games aren't even getting localized.
Right.
And it's kind of because of the shift, because now with Western companies, they're putting out a major game every year. Like there's always a new Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder and harder for the Japanese companies to keep up with that. And a lot of people in North America and Europe, they kind of like the yearly releases. So with the way the market is right now, it's not really set up for Japanese companies to do that well. Mm-hmm. I want to say that the market will swing back eventually, because up until like 2002, it was mostly Japanese games that were the elite ones, and now it's kind of shifted to like Bethesda and BioWare.
Yeah, and in my opinion, Konami has been really the only one that seems to be still doing a decent job. I mean, I don't think they've really sacrificed their games and like gone Western. Like if you look at Metal Gear Solid 4, that just seems like a Metal Gear game. Like absolutely, yeah. Kojima didn't do anything to make that game seem Western. Like he just went out there and said, "Okay, I'm making this a Metal Gear game. I don't care what Konami has to say to me. This is the game I want to make." And I think that really has to be what all Japanese developers do. I don't think they should sacrifice the quality of the game just to make it appeal more to Western gamers. I think that's a big mistake.
Yeah,
I think they just took too much time to figure out how HD works and how to use it the best way possible. Well, Western figured out from the start, and they were improving. Well, this guy is trying to catch up.
And that might actually have a lot to do with the PC background with Western games, because a lot of the PC developers like Bethesda and BioWare, they're now like primarily console developers, and a lot of people actually don't like that either. So a lot of changes actually in the gaming industry, not just the Japanese industry. So
I don't like this change.
There's another problem. Some games do get released, but they simply do not get localized.
Yeah.
Especially, a lot of games,
they
still make games for PSP, but they just don't get here because of the market. But the market,
that's always been a problem.
They still have decent market in Japan, so they still make it for that.
Yeah. I guess they might do something like where they will release the games later on, kind of like what they did with some of the PS2 games. I think on the PSN. So I think on the PSN there are some like Japanese games that are not localized, but you can play them by download.
But it's mostly games with not much text.
Oh.
Where you don't need to really know Japanese to understand it.
No full-length RPGs or anything like that.
No, but there are a lot of them on Japanese PSN.
Aha, I can imagine. I bet a lot of people would play them.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
All right. So our next question is, it's also by Levis, and the question is, if you could be any character from FF history, who would you be and why? We'll start with Katya this time.
I don't know. I guess I would be Quistis from Final Fantasy VIII.
Quistis?
Quistis.
Okay. And why is that?
She just seemed like the voice of reason and more mature characters than the rest.
Yeah, that's true. She was I think the oldest.
Yeah.
By 1 year, maybe. I think she was 19.
Oh yeah, I mean, if she was, a teacher already.
Yeah.
She must be smarter than the rest of them.
That's right. Keeping all those hooligans in line.
Yep.
I had a really tough time thinking up a character. I kind of want to say a character from Final Fantasy IX, but I don't know. I can't really think of a character, to be honest.
You secretly want to be Steiner.
I don't know. I'm not clumsy like Steiner.
Monkey Boy.
Is there any like really technical character? Maybe Sid? Yeah. Maybe one of the old Sids who was like, I got it. The Sid from Final Fantasy V. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I don't even know him.
I think he was like some kind of crazy engineer guy and building airships. So,
But
designing...
speaking of Final Fantasy IX characters, I think Beatrix is also cool.
Oh, yeah, Beatrix. Yeah. She was pretty cool. Josh, what about you?
I really don't know because it seems like every Final Fantasy character has a miserable life. 90% of the characters are orphans, and they have to go on some huge quests when they're like little kids. But if I had to pick, I'd probably pick Palom for Final Fantasy IV.
Oh yeah.
The After Years version, where like he's like 20 now, and he has a lot of epic scenes in his tale and in the final tales, and he's the master of black magic. How can you go wrong?
Yep. Magic. So our next question is by Jesus. That's right. And so his question is, what's in your Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13 wish list? Josh, we'll start with you.
One of my favorite things in Final Fantasy has been the ice levels, and there hasn't really been a true ice level for a while now. So I'd like a pretty solid ice environment to go explore.
Yeah, that was actually always really exciting to do. Like, at the start of the game, you're always kind of like in the center continent, the biggest one. It's all grassy. But then, like, later on in the game, you get to the ice continent, and like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, like in Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, are you talking about the ice continent or the ice cave?
The ice continent. The ice cave was bad. I did not like the ice cave.
No, the ice continent. What was that like? I don't even... Oh, yes, now I remember. Yeah, you go to...
Disc 3.
Yeah, no, what's it called? That you traveled on boat to the... what's that building called? Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember, but...
It's just before the volcano, I believe.
Yeah, it's right after the part where you had to split up the party. When Kuja...
And then
are we allowed to spoil this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
like
game's
a
been
12-year-old game.
Yeah. If you haven't played the game yet, play it, because it's awesome.
It's right after Kuja captures everyone.
Yeah, and then you escape from his dungeon.
Yeah.
And then you travel to... I don't remember the name.
It started with an O, I think.
No, are you thinking of Olivert or something?
No, that's not it.
Estogaza.
Yes.
That's it. Estogaza. Yes. That's where you travel to.
Yep, I liked that place.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Had some interesting music.
Yeah.
And Katya?
For me, probably better writing.
Better writing.
Proper ending.
Mm-hmm. I might agree with that one.
I'm sure the gameplay is gonna be okay, so I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah, I kind of think the gameplay should be okay. I mean, they're just focusing on lightning, so I would hope so. So I think I agree. Better writing.
Would be nice to not have old cast, but that's not gonna happen now.
Mm-hmm. I hope there's just lots of really in-depth information about the character, like they really go into her backstory and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I hope there's a lot of that.
There was maybe like 3 scenes that hit Lightning's backstory in 2 games, so they should probably work on that.
But I hope, it's made, in a smart way, not just random explanation like in Final Fantasy 13 2, like everything is because of a paradox. That's the only explanation for everything. Hope there's some logic behind it.
Maybe in Lightning Returns it'll all be because of aliens.
Possibly.
Maybe. And well, if you look at Final Fantasy VII and the way they did things with storytelling, I mean, Cloud had a whole 40-minute segment where he literally tells his story about his background.
That's where he tells Zack's story.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Zack's story. I apologize, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And I think there needs to be more of that. And that can really only happen when they're not voiced. I mean, imagine if that part was voiced. I don't think it would have been as good. It kind of had to be done the way it was.
Yeah, like the text coming over the screen, not even like in text bubbles, but...
Yeah.
Just, yeah, I don't really think that is possible to do with voices.
Mm-hmm. A lot of things I don't think is possible to do with voices. Like, I was playing Final Fantasy IX not too long ago, and some of the things I was reading, like, that would never happen in a voiced Final Fantasy today. Like, just these little things that some of the characters say, and it's like, yeah, that they would never voice that. I mean, they would have to have like 500 hours of voicing to get all these little phrases in there, and it makes a big difference with those missing. And some of these conversations I was reading between Zidane and Aiko, I mean, there's just hilarious stuff. And
The part where you have to cook for her?
Yeah, exactly. That scene. And I mean, that would never happen in a more modern Final Fantasy. And I miss that kind of.
It's not serious enough for modern Final Fantasy.
I know, and they never spend the time to voice those scenes, but they really should, because I mean, those are some of the moments that made it a true Final Fantasy. And now it's just, like watching a teen drama or something like that.
Right now it's very anime inspired.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of
I think they do a lot of things the way anime is done. So that's all our questions for this episode. If you have any more questions, make sure to go to finalfantasy-fxn.net and go to the forums and head over to the questions thread. And if you're lucky, it will get answered on the podcast. So now we'll move on to our feature discussion, and we're going to do things a little bit differently because, well, I kind of failed when coming up with a good topic to discuss. So I thought it might be a good opportunity to talk about our first experiences with Final Fantasy. So, like, when we first played our first Final Fantasy game, what did we think, or what was that like? And well, I'll start with my story here. I believe I was 12 years old, and it was Christmas time, and I really wanted a PlayStation, and I had never heard of the game Final Fantasy before, but my parents got a used PS1, and it came with something like 5 or 6 games. Metal Gear was in there, and Crash Bandicoot, so, those classic games. And along with it was this strange-looking game called Final Fantasy VII, and well, it was a fairly thick CD case, so I thought, well, this might be a good game. So I stuck it in the PlayStation 1, and I started playing it, and, I got to the first battle, and I'm like, what the heck? What is this? I was clicking the X button, and I'm like, why aren't I attacking? My character's just standing there getting attacked. And then eventually, I don't know, I must have randomly clicked the circle button, and, he attacked and won the battle. And, I think after the second battle, I gave up and just said, this game's terrible. I'm never playing this again. And so then I don't know, a couple days later, my sister comes along and says, hey, what's that game over there? And I said, oh, I don't know. It's not a very good game. You don't want to play it. And, well, she sticks it in there anyways and starts playing. It's like, oh, I see. There's like a time bar there. Oh. And like, hey, okay, that's kind of cool. And then I pretty much got addicted to the game and played it for probably 10 hours straight after that. And, here we are today. And now I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. Yeah, good times. I was pretty stupid back then, though, you see.
Okay, so my first experience with Final Fantasy was when I was 6 years old, and I went to a friend's house. His older brother was playing Final Fantasy IX, and we had no idea what was going on. First thing we saw when we were playing was Quina.
Mm-hmm.
So... And then everyone got confused and he died. I thought that it looked like the best game ever and I wanted to play. But he said I couldn't because there was too much reading. So then I went to go play Tony Hawk with my friend. And then about a year later, I saw the game on a shelf at a Target or something. And my mom got it for me. And I started playing Final Fantasy IX until my discs were scratched up beyond belief and couldn't play.
That's brutal.
Yeah. I was not very kind to my game discs as a kid.
Did you get angry at them?
Not as a kid. That didn't start happening until I turned about 13 or 14.
Oh, okay.
It all started when I threw my PSP at the ground in frustration. It almost broke in half.
I feel bad for your consoles.
But, so after the disc stopped working, my dad got me Final Fantasy X, and I played that for... I think I still have a file with like 120 hours on it or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I still play it every now and then to try and beat all the monsters in the monster,
Oh, yeah.
Which I still can't do. But, yeah, after that, I was hooked. And 10 isn't my favorite anymore because I eventually went back and started playing all the older ones. So 7 took that spot. But,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it all started with watching a friend's older brother play Final Fantasy IX.
Nice.
Yeah.
And, Katya, what about you? What was your first experience like?
It's somewhat similar to yours, I guess. I mean,
oh, really?
Yeah, before I didn't have PlayStation, and I didn't live in US, and where I lived, we didn't really have consoles like PlayStation. We didn't have Nintendo, we only had like some knockoff consoles. And all I had experience is platformers like Mario and other stuff like that. So when I came here and I got PlayStation for Christmas, so I went to the store and the only reason I picked it up is because I like the cover for Final Fantasy VIII, so I got that. I didn't know anything about it. I was just, it looked pretty. Oh, yeah. So, and when I tried playing it, I also like you, I didn't get what was the gameplay. So it's nothing like I ever experienced before. But I think first time I got to transmission center and I got killed off, and of course I didn't know about memory cards, so everything got lost. And I didn't have a memory card, so... But then I got one, I tried again, and I really enjoyed it second time. Like, I didn't even know, could I pause the game, or I couldn't pause the game, because if I didn't pause it, they still keep hitting me.
Yeah. Yeah, there would be a lot of things in Final Fantasy that would be confusing to a first-time player. In fact, I remember I was taking a course about like games, and they were just showing off some all the different genres, and when they got to the Japanese RPG one, they showed off a video of Crisis Core, and that's, I think, a really bad example of showing what Japanese RPG is about. But they showed like the slot system, and people were looking at this and were like, what is going on? And this whole class is mostly like BioWare fans, you have to understand, because I live in Edmonton, and that's where BioWare is. And so like 3/4 of the people are BioWare fanatics. And so they don't play Japanese RPGs. They're all about the North American ones. And they're looking at this Crisis Core game and like, what is going on? This slot machine and this randomly attacking. And I'm like, what? So, I mean, if you're a first-time Final Fantasy player, like, it can be really confusing.
It was really strange going from Tony Hawk to Final Fantasy IX.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. So, if you guys have any experiences from your first one, you should share them on the forums with us. That might be kind of fun, because some of those stories can be pretty unique. So that just about sums up our podcast. If you want to listen to all of our episodes, you can go to the iTunes Store or the Miro podcast directory, or on YouTube, or you can go to finalfantasy-fxn.net. Our next episode will be released at the beginning of the second week of December. So do you guys want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, guys.
Laters.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody, and see you next episode.